Hey,
Hey, Timo.
Hey,
good to see it. Good to see you, Timo.
Hey, yeah, shit, huh?
Did you steal the computer from your brother?
Yeah, of course I did.
All right.
That's what
So
happens when you're on parents' vacation and you don't bring anything. Yeah?
That's what happened. So I'm guessing you're in Villach?
Yeah, close to Villach. St. Johan, yeah, it's a small village.
We'll be discussing what the name was. So it's Villach, of course, because the
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Cool.
say Villach, but it's actually closer to Klagenfurt than Villach.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of in the middle, but yeah.
Right. So, how are you?
Oh, good. I'm good.
Yeah. Still on a high?
Yeah, a bit tired, but still on a high, definitely on a high.
Great.
And you? Are you good?
Well, yeah, not on a high like you, but actually,
it's not. I'm not that high either.
That's good. You can save that for later, I guess. Actually, it's quite the opposite. I was just telling Vladek I had a really bad moonboard session yesterday. I'm shit.
Oh, God damn it. It's kind of the worst thing there.
Yeah.
Shit moonboard session. Yeah, just take a week off. You'll be fine.
Thanks. Pro tips.
That's what I do.
That's what you do.
Yeah, well, so anyway, congratulations to joining the Elite 9A club.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Where did you get the name from? To start there.
Yeah, it's a great story. I was looking at the boulder at one point, and I was obviously thinking of names for a while. Once I got closer of doing it, and it's like this huge, steep, dark, kind of frightening wall almost. And so I was like, what could be a name that fits this, And I was thinking like, Lord of the Rings, Mordor, and then like Mount Doom came to mind. I was like, that's actually quite cool because I also like almost felt a little bit obsessed at the end. So I was like, I just really want to chuck that ring in the fire and be free. So it was good. It was a cool name. I liked it. So yeah, chose it.
Just a little bit obsessed?
Yeah, a bit more than a little bit, I would say.
It's a quite cool wall, I think. It looks really good. The textures of it, shapes.
It's really sick. Like it's like you walk there and you immediately see that huge wall, and it's so obvious that you really want to climb it. And for so long I was like trying to find a way to doing it, and I was sure there has to be a way, and yeah, it's just too good to not be possible to be climbed, I guess.
How steep is it actually? It's like 40 degrees or
something like that. It's quite steep. If you look from the side, it looks like it's a bit like a wave. It starts like this, then gets steep, and then gets a little less steep again. Nice. And the steepest part is more or less right where before the stand starts, and like the intro of the stand around the middle of the boulder is like the steepest.
So it looks like the boulder to the right, it's emotional landscapes, right?
To the left. Yeah.
To the left.
To the left.
To the left.
Yeah. I mean, to the left. Yeah. Exactly. It's all on the same wall, basically. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like emotional landscapes right at the beginning of the wall, which is, I mean, also a really crazy hard and cool line, but it's not as like impressive because it doesn't climb the whole block. Basically, you just like go to the left and you stand on top, and that's it. And then in the middle, there's just, I don't know if it's possible to climb that. I was looking a couple of times, but I still doubt that you can do something there. And then on the right, there's like hide and seek and also flight mode, which is a right start to hide and seek and has the same ending, which is like 8B, 8A plus 8B. And hide and seek is like on the right side, but just the way I start, it's like at the very, very bottom, and you just do the whole line basically.
So do you start, is it to the left of the stand start, or is it right under? Or
it's quite under. It looks like it goes slightly from left to right, I would say, but it's still basically right underneath. And there's like this huge rock phase kind of thing. Like the landing basically goes with the boulder. And so, yeah, you just need a lot of pads, and then it's quite logical to climb into hide and seek.
Nice, cool.
How many moves is the whole boulder?
In total, it's like 17 moves, I think. Or like, I think it's like 16, 17, like really hard ones, and then like 2 not super hard ones to like top out. But it's around like something like that. It's quite long.
So
Yeah.
hard. So hard
It's
for
very hard.
I mean, I was watching a couple of videos on Paul Robinson and Yannick
Yeah.
Huber climbing
Oh, yeah.
hide and seek.
Mhm.
And I was trying to look like, are there any holes like below?
Mhm.
Fuck, there are no holes there. Like, it must be out of frame or something, but apparently not. It's just, I mean, if it's not a chalk on them, you can't. It's difficult to see, but they must be really tiny.
It's tiny, especially the start. Like the start is, you have like 2 really small crimps where you go to, and then I think that's also like the first crux, I would say, where you go to like the right to this really weird ear kind of pinch, which is mostly you do everything with the thumb, I would say. Like it's really weird, but I like it. And then high foot, and then you go out of like to the steepest part, and that's when you enter like a couple of pretty hard but not crazy hard moves until you're like in the stand. And it's funny because when I started trying, and when I especially started looking closer to like where the holds could be, it was quite fast that I was like, okay, that's the holds. Something needs to be possible with that, because if you touch the holds from the ground, they're actually not too bad. Like I was like, okay, yeah, it's gonna be possible for sure. But then once I started actually trying it, I was like, fuck, I don't know how, because everything is like turned the wrong way. All the footholds are turned exactly the wrong way. So are some of the holds, and it took me so long to just figure out a way to link the single moves until it finally kind of made sense.
So how long until you did single moves just to start with?
Well, yeah, I'm not entirely sure how long exactly it took. I basically had like a couple of sessions each year till last year, starting from like 2021. And I think in 2023, I did all the moves except one part in the middle, which later on I found the beta. So like last year, I actually had the whole like first part done, or at least I knew how to do it. I still haven't even done like the first part at once. But I had an idea, and I found this like trick which really helped to like have this high drop knee, kind of like a knee bar thing for this sequence, and this kind of unlocked the whole thing. And then that's when I was like, okay, now I have all the moves. I know what to do. I know which feet to take, what to do with my hands, all of this. And so this has to be possible. And that's when I also started to like really focus on this and try to like work. Like just had couple of sessions more just trying those moves, trying to link it. Did the first part in like 2 sections, or like 2 parts, and then at one point I guess I had it dialed in enough to do the first part, or like to climb the whole first part. And then obviously I was like, okay, now I can actually slowly give like send goes.
But
Nice.
really, Nicolai, I mean, you describing it was quite a process to do the first part, which you say is 8B+/C, somewhere there. I mean, you were dispatching 8 Cs in a couple of tries.
Yeah.
Sure, you knew how to do it, but it sounds
Yeah,
like you're a bit sandbagging a little bit here.
Yeah, that's I'm not sure. Yeah, it's really, that's what I was thinking at one point, like, because even once I had the beta, I was still kind of struggling to like put it together. I don't know if I was just like, I don't know, doing random stuff, like maybe not trying hard enough. I don't know. I don't think that was the case, but yeah, it's still like it's weird, because at the beginning I was like, this feels so crazy hard just doing the first part. And I feel like, I think I definitely also got a lot stronger just trying the moves, and especially the last couple of months, I was basically climbing outdoors most of the time. I was trying a lot of different boulders, doing a lot of different hard lines and everything. And I feel like I just also got stronger in this kind of style. And so then at one point I was able to do it, and I was like, okay, it's possible, but like, is it like harder than other things I've done? Like, I was always kind of comparing it to other like 8C boulders that I've done. And to be honest, I do think that the first part is like definitely comparable to, like, I don't know, maybe Forgotten Gem or something. But at the same time, I really like the style of Forgotten Gem. I really like those moves, and I think I'm also good on that. But yeah, I've had so many thoughts about all of this stuff. It's ridiculous. But yeah, it's hard to say. I would say it's definitely harder than the second part, because the second part is also like hide and seek is AB plus, and I definitely struggled much more, and still now struggled much more in the beginning, as a single like move or whatever, or single sequence, than the top part. But yeah, I don't know if it's actually 8C, but I'm pretty sure it's something in this, range.
Have you done some specific training for the start, like indoor, like replica or something like that? Or
yeah, that's a good question, because I actually never did something like that until I hurt my ankle a little bit the other time. And yeah, for a while, I basically just campused, and then just did like 1 foot stuff. And I really tried setting a replica of the moves a little bit, but not actually not from the first part, but from the top part. I just tried to, because it's quite long, quite long. It's like 15 moves, but like 15 very hard moves. And I fell a couple of times on like the last hard section of hide and seek, where like go to this gas stone to another gas stone, then you have to put your left foot like super high up to your hand. I think I fell like 6 or 7 times on this part, and like after this, I didn't fall anymore, and I was quite sure I wouldn't. And yeah, you just get like numb fingers, you have cold hands, you don't feel anything. You're also obviously really like tired out at one point, your fingers, everything. And so I tried to like do, let's say 15 hard moves, and then do exactly this, just like gas down, put the foot up. And I don't know if it actually helped, but I feel like I did definitely get better on this kind of style, especially like 15 moves on like tensiony, crimpy kind of climbing. But yeah, otherwise I was just working on the moves itself, or on the boulder itself.
Maybe it helps, if not anything else, so mentally to be used to do that in that sort of tired.
I think that's more like it, because for me it was also like towards the end I was just also like, it's a bit of a mental thing as well, because you fall a couple of times on the very last like hard part, and you just really don't want to fall there anymore. And so every time I got there, I was also like, oh shit, no, I just fucking do it somehow. And then again, like your foot slips, your hands, something happens, or you just tire out and can't do it anymore. And yeah, I just think mentally it could have actually helped quite a bit, just because you get used to like to the feeling you maybe also have at that point in the boulder, and then still execute the maybe crux part, I would say.
But you sent it like not so long time after your injury, right?
Yeah, like 2.5 weeks.
It wasn't so bad, the injury then.
No, it wasn't really. It was not severe or anything. Like I didn't tear anything. It was just like partially torn or like bruised, and yeah, it hurt, but it wasn't like a crazy injury. I just like fell and then twisted my ankle on the same move, on the same part actually. And then yeah, I rested for a bit. I did 1 foot training, and the only problem, like I just couldn't fit into my shoe. And so that's why also I climbed with 1 foot, and for rock climbing, and like I was 2 weeks, or like I think I did the boulder 5 days after I first managed to like get back into my climbing shoe. And it's also I was very lucky because the boulder doesn't really require the right foot much. It's basically all left because you go from left to right, and so the pressure is always on the left. And the few footholds I used, they're all straight, so I don't need to put like crazy weight on that, or I don't need to twist my ankle weirdly or do a crazy heel hook, because those things like still kind of hurt. And like for example, cone boulders is still super hard to do a lot of stuff because I just can't bend the heel as much, and I'm also kind of scared of for some things. But yeah, for rock climbing or these kind of simple footholds, it was good.
When did you climb the boulder actually?
On Saturday.
Saturday. Okay.
First of March.
1st of March. Okay.
Yeah.
So it was. I mean, sometimes it's like, oh, that was 2 weeks ago. But
no. But I actually did it the same day as I published it. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
In the morning.
So, how was it like? How was it the day when you sent it? Did you know you will send it, or was it like fight till the end?
Yeah. To be honest, I had that feeling a couple of times where I was like, I'm gonna do it today, and I didn't. And so this time was somehow different because I was also getting kind of not annoyed, but like I've had enough a little bit. It was just like to a point where I was like, I just really want to do it now, because not that I've like, of course I put a lot of effort in and I tried it a lot, but it still like wasn't a crazy amount of time that I invested, but it's still like a lot. And I think I'm also not the type of guy who usually, I don't know, enjoys projecting stuff for forever, I haven't done that as much in my life, as I've just like went climbing and did whatever I could in like fast period or whatever. And so yeah, I was just getting a lot, driving up there, because from where I'm at now at my parents' place, it's still like an hour to Maltatal, and so driving up there every time, putting the 15 pads in place so that you don't like break your ankle or something like that, and putting all the ticks in, it just, I don't know, it was a long process and everything. And then each day you have like maybe 5 attempts or something, because you do like 1 attempt, maybe fall at the end somewhere, have to rest for like an hour, wait again. And yeah, it was just also mentally a little bit draining. And so this day when I did it, I just felt like, whatever it takes, I'm just gonna do it today. That's it. Like I've done enough. I fell a couple of times at the end. I hurt my ankle on this boulder. I've suffered enough. I'm just gonna do it now. And I warmed up and felt really good already. I did the stand start immediately in my first go, and then I was like, I'm just gonna go straight for the ascent and tried from the beginning. And then it was actually also the first go this day that I did the whole boulder. So yeah, I did have a good feeling. But
so do you think the difference could have been that, like, a couple of times before when you felt like I could do this, I'm going to do this now, like maybe you were a little bit excited about it, and this time where you just, oh fuck it, I just fucking need to do it, I'm tired of this shit?
Maybe I just needed to get a little bit more like frustrated or something. But yeah, I don't know, because the other maybe a couple of sessions, you're like, it maybe it's like the thing in your head where like, maybe it's okay if I don't do it. There's no stress, that's what that's what I also sometimes tell myself when I'm trying hard boulders or something like that. You're like, it's not like a competition. You don't have to do it today. If it doesn't work out, it's fine. But at the same time, you always want to do it. And I'm just speaking for me, but like I'm always kind of getting excited about it, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go for it now, maybe that's it, and let's go. And I don't know, this day just felt different. I was just like, I still knew, like, of course there's no stress, I don't have to, it's fine if I don't. I have a couple more days here, and still I was like, no, I just really, 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 really wanted to do it and finish this project.
But don't you think it's like 2 levels of consciousness there? Like, on the one side, what you're trying to tell yourself, like, it doesn't matter, it's all chill, just calm yourself down. But the inside is like, fuck,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's a little bit of like self manipulation at times as
Exactly.
well, because you're just getting so annoyed and so frustrated, and then you're like, it's okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Playing
It's
game
fine.
with your
And
son.
inside you're burning.
Yeah.
But yeah.
About the grade, you said it's 9A, or you proposed it's 9A. How difficult was it for you to say, like, because that's the hardest thing at the moment. So
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely like I thought a lot about it, and I probably thought more about it than I would have liked to. And it also, like, of course, it's not an easy decision to say something like that. And I also know that I don't have the crazy amount of experience that maybe other people have, and especially since I was also focused a lot on competitions, and I definitely don't have like the crazy amount of other boulders that I maybe did or tried or whatever. But yeah, I thought a lot about it, and in the end, it just felt the most logical to give it 9A. It's also it's always, I try to find like balance between also my feeling and somehow facts or something. And when it comes to feeling, it's maybe like, yeah, it's maybe easier also because I know like it's the thing I tried the most in my life. I haven't projected anything like this. All the borders I did much faster, except for like a couple ones which were also like close by in Maltatal, like emotional landscapes. I tried a lot, and a couple years ago also like Big Eyes and Sit, and other borders I did quite fast. And then actually with Elfane was like the first big project outside of Austria, and this was also like a new kind of thing for me, which also definitely helped for like the last couple of weeks now. But yeah, so comparing it to other borders, I was always pretty sure, that it's next level, and that it's at least the hardest thing that I've done. And especially also that it's pretty much my style. I think like it's very I like the kind of moves. I'm also quite good on those, and comparing it to other climbs in this maybe style, it was much harder than anything else. And then I tried, obviously, because as a whole boulder, the only boulder I can really compare it to is Elfane, because I haven't tried any other 9As. And it's actually quite comparable because both are rather long climbs, I would say. Maybe Elfane is actually a little bit, it's definitely a little bit shorter, and the crux is, there's maybe more like a crux, at least for me, because in Elfane you have this middle section with the slot and all of this, and that for me is like the by far hardest part, and all the rest of the moves are much better for me, and I can do them quite consistently. And so it was always like, when I was trying, it was like, okay, if I can do this, I have a really good chance of sending it. Whereas the one now in Maltatal, it's much more like consistently hard. I feel like there's maybe like 2-3 sections that are like crux sections, like at the very beginning, in the middle, and at the end. And that's where like around where I always kind of fell. But yeah, that's like the only reference I had from the 9A grade. And so what definitely helped deciding to give it the 9A is just like that I split the border in two. That's like the easiest way, I think, because you have the already existing 8B plus hide and seek, and then I was like, okay, well, if the start feels definitely harder than the end, and I also had like a couple of quite a few people were also just like trying the moves, and also like my little brother was quite strong, and some other people just like had like a feeling for the beginning, and it was interesting to see. And also just speaking for myself, I was, at least in this aspect, that's where I was sure that it's like harder, or at least the same grade of difficulty, and that would mean like 8B plus, or even 8B plus 8C or something like that, into an 8B plus, and that kind of has to be, or not, doesn't have to be, but like that equals something harder. And so yeah, that's also what helped me. And in the end, if it's like, if it's maybe like low end 9A, or if it's solid 9A, if it's maybe like 8C plus /9A, I just can't tell either, because like I said, I don't really have too many references. I don't know if, I mean, there's not many people who do have those references, except for like maybe Will Bosey and and a handful of people who've done like maybe more than 2 9As. And so yeah, I think for sure like time will tell if more people are going to try it and eventually do climb the boulder, then it's also going to be maybe easier having more and more opinions, especially like on the whole climb, because it does feel a lot different if you just try the single moves or something like that than the whole boulder, of course.
Yeah, cool. Did you use Strathgrader?
I did.
Yeah.
Actually, to be honest, I have never used it before. And
Huh.
at one point I was talking to, I'm not sure again, I think I was talking to my friend Misha Picowood. He was like, just put it in Darth Grade. And I was like, oh, wait, what? What's that? Darth Grade? And I was like, okay. And I put it in. I was like, oh, okay, well, that helps. And then over time, more and more people I was like talking to, everyone was like, yeah, did you put it into Darth Grade? And I was like, yeah, I did. No, but yeah, it's quite a funny app. You just, yeah, you do get like a good reference point, or just like an idea in which direction it goes. I do still think like it's still important to also put your own feeling and opinion or whatever into it, and other people's opinion or whatever. But yeah, for sure, like it helped once I put in, I don't know, AP plus into AP plus or something, and it says like, I don't know, 9A or something like that, then you do know that your math is technically correct.
Yeah.
That makes it easier. Yeah.
About the feeling, did it feel like a limit for you?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean it did feel limit when I sent it, and to be honest, usually when I have sent boulders, you try them and you kind of perfect the moves and everything, and maybe then when you actually do send it, it maybe doesn't feel that hard anymore. And so I think I think there's not that many times where I sent a boulder and it felt like that was complete limit. And I really definitely had the feeling in this one. And it's something I was even thinking about, like maybe when I will do it, is it gonna feel quite chill, or am I gonna like fight for my life kind of? And I wasn't sure, because like I said, I feel like when I did climb boulders that I've tried for a while, then you perfect them so much that it doesn't feel on your complete limit, but this one definitely did.
You mentioned you could do like 5 attempts in a day in a session.
Yeah. Around
sounds like a lot. I mean, kind of these, I mean, tiny holes, sharp crimps.
Yeah. There's like a lot of also factors coming in, like skin, everything. If you can do more or less, or the way you feel that day. Like I've had days where I did like 4 attempts and I had like 2 really good ones where I fell on the top part towards the end. Now I think it was actually on the session before I did it. I did like 4 attempts, and twice I fell on the very, very last part again. And I was just dead after. Like I couldn't give another try. My skin, my body, everything. And I also mentally, I was like, it's no point trying again, because you just also need to be so focused and so alert, and like literally, make every movement, every foot placement, everything perfectly in order to like have a chance of doing it. And I also felt like I only had that in my first couple of tries, maybe even just like first 2 tries, to be honest, because then sometimes it just got worse, and then maybe I had one more good one as like my last attempt or something, but I never felt as like close anymore as on my first few goes sometimes.
Yeah, but I mean, almost doing it twice, that's like climbing 2 9As in a day, basically.
Yeah,
I mean,
almost.
almost.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
No,
go on.
No, you did it like after your injury, so you train before descending just in the gym.
Yeah.
You had a gym skin. For me, if I'm climbing at the gym, and then I came outdoor. It's almost impossible to climb because
I definitely agree, and that's why also like towards the last couple, like when I knew I was gonna come back and try the boulder, I was also trying to climb more on like the wooden board, the kilter board, stuff like that, to first of all not lose skin, and at the same time also kind of I'm always using anti-hydro as well, otherwise I have no chance. So I was also using that in order to like grow skin back, to have like a thicker layer and all of this. But yeah, otherwise, no way. Like you immediately also get like a split or something, because in a few sessions I had like 2 attempts, and on my third one, like I got a cut or something. So it plays a huge role that you have like good skin, also good temperatures, good conditions. Obviously, like if it's too warm, it's so horrible to climb on these moves, just because it's some holds like are really small and just bad. Some are also quite sharp and on the beginning, or like 2 holds are especially quite sharp on the beginning. Then you have this ear, which is also kind of friction dependent, I would say. And then towards the end, you also don't want to start sweating too much and stuff. So it was definitely good to have really cold weather the time, especially now when I tried it. But yeah, the only downside, I guess, is that you get cold fingers, but I feel like I always get cold fingers on this boulder. Like every attempt I got to the end, I just had really cold fingers, and it still worked. You just need to, I guess, ignore it, or I don't know.
Isn't the weather in Maltatal quite special? That's what I heard anyway, with like hot winds, like rain.
Yeah, there's the so-called föhn here in
Right.
around Maltatal, which is like this really warm wind at times. And yeah, in Maltatal, it's just like you never know. I literally sometimes here it was like raining, and I looked at the webcam of Maltatal and it looked quite okay. I was like, how? And then I was like, okay, let's try. And I go up, and it was the most perfect conditions ever. Like, and 10 minutes before you arrive, it's still raining or something. It's really tricky. And then the thing is, once it does rain and once it does get wet, most boulders, especially around like Bügeleisen and Air, all these boulders, they get like, because it's this huge wall coming down, it doesn't dry up in like sometimes weeks. And in my case, I was also lucky because this one is quite secured. Like there's a big kind of boulder, rock, and trees and stuff above, so it doesn't really get as much of the rain. But yeah, still, if it does rain properly, it will also get wet properly and go out to dry up.
So I saw Timo did the hide and seek a couple of weeks ago. Do you think this will be his project now? The sit down.
I tried to convince him,
Yeah.
But well, he's still got like big guys left. He needs to do the sit start in order to be allowed to try this.
Right, makes sense.
That's what I give him. No. But he's lucky. He still has a lot of. He's still got a lot of boulders left. So first he's gonna do all of them, I think, and then.
Right.
It's someone else trying it, or
Jakob was actually here for 1 day or 2 days and tried a little bit, and otherwise just like some also local people, but no one really like properly tried it. There was like some people who maybe when I was there, I was like, I want to just like try a couple of first moves, because sometimes people were trying hide and seek and stuff, and so I was like, oh, like they obviously saw that I was trying the sit or also knew, and so I was like, maybe if you guys just want to try the moves and all of this. And so over the session, sometimes people just like gave it a little bit of a go and had a couple goes on the single moves, tried to link a little bit. My brother actually tried a bit more with me, and over the years, there's always a session where you're like with a maybe different guy or someone's over and you go together, and then you have some friends try with you. But I think most of the time I was basically trying it by myself and working it out by myself.
Cool. But it's I mean, compared to some of the other 9As in the world, it's at least quite accessible, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite easy actually. Like Maltatal is also Austria. It's in Austria, and it's from Innsbruck. It's not too far. It's also like for the German people. I know that also. I was texting with Užnik, and he wanted to come by at one point. And yeah, it's not like, I don't know, maybe for most people, I don't know, burden of dreams where you have to take a plane. At least from Central Europe, you can easily drive and also like stay in a van or take an Airbnb or something. And it's also in the main sector, it's not a huge hike, which is great. It's 5 minutes and you're there. It's a big factor for me.
And it's not so far from Slovenia, right?
Yeah. So I mean, also Janja was here quite a lot. So she actually also tried a little bit the moves
in
the beginning. I talked to her at one time, and she said that she was trying, just trying a little bit the moves because she did the stand start a while back.
Right.
I don't exactly know when she did it, but then she was just also looking because I guess the holds were already wide, and I think she also knew that I was working on it, and so she didn't really know the beta as well, but I think she's also psyched to try it.
Yeah, of course. But on the subject of 9As, you're also working Alpine, obviously, and you're getting close on that one.
Yeah, but yeah, honestly, Alpine is such a weird boulder to me. Like, I felt like actually the longest time it took me also to figure out the beta, because especially in the middle section you have so many different options. And when I started trying it again this year, I took a couple of sessions to find the best beta for me, and it really helped me to try. I was trying with Daniel Woods and Sean Bailey, and then I ended up trying it the same way as Sean, and it really, that was a huge game changer. And when he showed me this beta, and I did it straight away like him, and then I could repeatedly do the sequence over and over again, and it felt really good. And the start and the end, already before I had it quite dialed in, or how you say it, and it did feel okay. And so then I soon started to really just try focus on getting send goals and try to doing it. And I did it also in 2 parts at one point quite fast after I figured out the beta. But then I had a couple more trips, but then the last trip I actually came for a week, and it was like the week where I was like, okay, I'm gonna focus just on Alphane, try to do it because I feel like I can do it now, and weather looked good, all of this. And I came, and it was just so freezing cold that I had like 0 chance. That was Sunday. Like the middle section, you have this slot, and it's so glassy. It's almost like you're in I don't know, Arco Masone, where you have like 400 people climbing on it every day. It's really tricky. And already for me, this hold was always so hard to like, I don't know, fit my fingers in, find the right position. And it's really tricky. And I had like 3 more sessions that week on it, and every time you climb from the beginning, you get to the slot, you try to cut loose. Every time, like, I just have 0 friction and fall. And like I already said a couple of minutes ago, I'm usually not the type of guy who enjoys trying the same thing over and over and over again for a long, I don't know, period of time. And so it's like, fuck, I just need a break off that. And I also knew I had that project at home already at that time. And I felt like I was also making progress there. And so in that week that was actually also when I was like, okay, now I'm just gonna take a break off of Fame, because I think I can also do that maybe later on when it gets warmer. Maybe it's actually going to be better, or in fall or whatever. And I did know that for the border at home in Maltatal, I need cold temps. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna try focusing on that, even though first I was like, maybe it's actually stupid, because I felt close enough saying, I was like, maybe I do have a chance if I come back again with a bit, I don't know, better weather, a bit warmer. Maybe I do have a chance of actually doing that. And at home, I wasn't that close yet. Like, I haven't really had good scent goes or anything like that. So I was like, maybe, I'm gonna bail this now, go home to Corinthia, try this boulder and be like, fuck, that's actually still impossible, and then have walk away empty-handed, or I don't know. And
yeah, but I mean, making a first ascent is of a 9A is of course
yeah.
colder.
Obviously, that was the huge motivation as well. Like, I knew Lafayne obviously was a great boulder, but of course it's different. If it does have quite a few repetitions, and yeah, I mean, of course, the one at home. First of all, it's in like the area I grew up climbing, basically, where I spent almost my whole life climbing in or bouldering in, where I've done pretty much everything, and like thousands of times I've climbed there, and of course that's also somehow more special to me. And I felt just like much more motivated by that, and I really wanted to do this, and the line, everything, it's just a different kind of motivation. That's what I also felt like with Lafayne. I wasn't enjoying it as much. I did like the boulder. It was quite fun trying it. It's always fun trying it also with other people. That's also what made it really fun for me. But then again, it's not, I would say, not necessarily my favorite style, or maybe also not the style I am the best at. All these, like, some of the weird positions you have to get in, and also hold the positions really long, climb really slowly, all of this. And I just knew the one at home is hard as well. It could be a really, really cool first ascent, really great king line, more my style, even though it did not feel that close or possible at this point. I still thought, like, I think I can get to this, and so I chose to focus on that.
I think Alpine is I mean, I haven't seen it in person, like when it exists. I've been there, but it was before. And so I've only watched it from people climbing it, and it seems so weird because you have the start, which everyone makes the same way, and then you have this section which is like sort of a chaos because everyone does it differently, and then you have the end, right? It's weird it's a weird problem like that, I think.
Yeah, it's actually like it's not a typical, I mean, what's a typical outdoor boulder, but it's not like it's really tricky. It's just really, really tricky, and especially like the middle section, there's pretty much everyone who's tried or done it has almost like a different beta. There's so many different footholds, different ways to do the moves, and I've tried like everything, and I've also at one point done most of the, or like felt close, or have done most of the other betas, and then it's also like, fuck, what do I do now? Like, what actually feels best? And that's when, like, the beta of Sean really helped, because this felt much better than the others. It still felt super hard, but like much better, and I consistently did it as a sequence. But it just changes a lot when you climb in. Like, I did the whole thing, I think one move in actually quite fast. I climbed over it, and I think I fell on the last short Gaston move or something. And then, like I said, the other trip, then when I came for that week, I tried from the beginning. I had zero chance holding like this thing. But again, I do still think I think it's probably not a disadvantage if it's a little bit warmer for that hold in particular. I don't know.
Do you think you still have time for it? Like now, when the competition season starts quite soon?
Yeah, well, actually, I'm skipping the first few World Cups this year, and focusing a little bit longer on rock climbing, and so I think I do have technically the time, definitely the time to try it, even though I do have, I also just really want to try some other things around Ticino, and I don't know exactly how psyched I am right now to try something that hard straight away. But I think I'm actually gonna go to Ticino probably next week for a few days, and maybe give it a go.
It's warm now.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah,
it could be good. That's the thing. Like, now, the cool thing is now with Alpine, I feel like I can, also decide kind of last second and just maybe go somewhere else in Ticino or try something else, and then one day be like, okay, maybe I'm gonna come back and give it a go, because I do have the beta and everything figured out, and I do, yeah, I am giving goes, so probably maybe I mean, I will definitely need another session, because you always need like one session to get back into it and do the moves again, because it's hard and also tricky. But then maybe just give a couple of goes every now and then, and depending on also how I feel on it and how psyched I am to try that again, I will maybe already now focus a bit more on it. But I think either in the next few weeks, months, or latest in fall, I think I want to get back on it.
Maybe you can trick yourself into like no pressure.
Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
What I find cool actually about Alpine is that what you say, the chaotic part. It's super cool because it's 9A boulder and there are so many different betas. It's
that's
like
crazy, yeah.
That's crazy actually.
Yeah. Like it's honestly crazy, because that's what I somehow meant with that. Like it's not a typical outdoor boulder, because it's like almost a comp boulder. You go there and you have zero idea what the fuck is happening, and and then once you do try it, maybe it does make a little bit more sense. But yeah, I guess if you compare it to other boulders, like, I don't know, Burden of Dreams, it's just like left, right, and
straightforward.
Straightforward. And it's also the one, Mount Doom, I think, is also much more straightforward. It's quite obvious you have the holds, and at least I think when you do have the beta, it is quite obvious what you need to do, and I don't think there's that much room of finding a different beta or changing it as much, at least.
But yeah, the funny thing is with Alpine, that people find different betas, but nothing is easier. Like it's like sort of the same.
True. Yeah. That's actually crazy, because you have all those, and also the people who have done it. Almost everyone has done it with like a slightly different beta, or at least a lot of people have done it very differently, and still everyone felt like it's 9A or it's still the same grade, which is crazy too. That like not anyone has like this one beta which feels like much easier or something. That it's literally a few options, you gotta choose one. And it doesn't really matter what you choose, it's still going to be hard.
There's another. I mean, I know that you're not too psyched to do 9As right now, but have you had a look at Arrival of the Birds?
I did, yeah.
Yeah?
Actually, I walked up the last trip in Ticino as well and had a look, and that was actually also something I was like, maybe I could be psyched on that, because it's, I've also kind of had enough for now with like longer boulders. That's more like the issue. It's not the grade or the difficulty. It's more like the style and the length of the boulder. I've tried this one so much. I've tried also a Fein quite a bit, and they're both, more like lead climber boulders, I would say, almost. Oh, nah, not lead, but you know what I mean. It's longer. And Arrival of the Birds is just like 5, I think, moves or something, and the boulder itself, it looks super cool. It's a huge block, cool line. I guess, you need to be a bit pain resistant or something, because it looks really painful and small. But I don't know, it could be worth a try, and maybe I could also like that.
Yeah, I think, didn't Aiden say that he was holding one of the sharp little holds for like 30 seconds or something?
30?
Because you have to move your feet so slowly, and it's like, I mean, 30 seconds sounds like a lot to me.
Oh, that's a lot, yeah. That's a lot of time. That's crazy. I didn't know that. That's a interesting fact. I don't know about that, if I like that. I just know that from what I've heard from some people, it's just really like hard, small, tiny crimps. And you need to have small fingers. You also need to be strong in crimps, obviously. And to be honest, I don't really know how the end works. I've only seen footage of like the first, I think, 2 moves a little bit, and I don't really know exactly how the end is supposed to be climbed. exactly, at least. But yeah, always, I always also, I find it cool trying. I just love trying, new things, and so that's what also like. I didn't even think about trying Arrival of the Birds, but it was just like that one day I was trying Alphane. You got frustrated. I was like, fuck, I just can't wait to try something else again. And then you walk up and then you see this, and you're like, that actually looks cool. Fuck, I might actually want to try this. And so yeah, I always get super psyched on when I like see something I haven't climbed on yet or that I haven't seen. So yeah, I could potentially drive up there one day and give it a go.
How often do you try a hard boulder that you don't know the beta of? I mean, obviously if it's a first ascent, but like if you were to try Arrival of the Birds,
Arrival.
I suppose you would ask Aiden like what's the beta for the top, how you do it, like.
Well, yeah, that's the tricky part, I guess. I mean, I talked to Sean Bailey a little bit when we were there together, that like he, right after he did Alphane, he was also trying it a little bit, and he showed me a few clips of him trying the first few moves and stuff. And yeah, I just honestly, I think it's so much harder when you have zero clue, for sure. Like if you have video, if you have someone there with you to explain everything to you, it definitely makes it easier. And I don't know to what extent it's also, yeah, I'd for sure prefer like to try it with someone else, because you just like share beta. It's more fun. It's more productive, I would say. And you could just help each other. And so yeah, I'm not a huge fan of climbing alone, to be honest.
No, I think it's actually a lot of times more fun not to know and work out the beta with someone.
That I agree with. That I
Yeah.
100% agree with. I recently, a few days ago, I was like talking to a friend when we were on in Maltatal. I was like, I fucking hate this shit. I just love projecting, but I hate giving send goes. I just want to be done with it, because the fun part to me, or like the really fun part to me, is always like figuring out the moves, trying the moves, working out the moves, and then be like, oh, I think I can do it, and then maybe do that one move, and then do the second move and stuff like that. That's why also always on Alphane it was so much fun, because you have like these super strong people that you can climb with, and everyone is like trying the same boulder in different methods, and then something clicks and you're like, oh, that could work. And it's just much more social and fun and easygoing. And then once you get to the point of sending, it's like, okay, shit, let me concentrate now and try doing this. And it's more like lonely, or you're much more in your head, I would say. And because, yeah, of course, even if you have people with you who are like whatever, filming, supporting, hanging out, but you're still like always, okay, you're sitting there, you're doing your thing, you try that one go, you fall down, you gotta wait another hour or so, do nothing, do the same thing all over and over and over again. And so yeah, it does, at least for me personally, I just enjoy projecting stuff.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, as long as you're working, projecting, trying to find the solutions, you can have small victories all the time. Whereas actually doing send goes is either you do it or you fail.
Yeah, that's, I guess that's also the hard thing of like projecting something on your limit, because the chance of having a successful moment just gets much and much lower. And yeah, like I said, I think there's probably hundreds of, I don't know, thousands of people who just like love exactly this about bouldering. And I somehow get it. Like it is a really fun process, and it's also extremely rewarding for a brief moment. But at the same time, yeah, if it's up to me, like at least when I think of myself in like, I don't know, 10, 20, I mean, not 10, but 20, 30 years or something, I'm still climbing, I will for sure, I think, not like project something crazy on my limit. I'll just go climbing and have fun and do whatever I want to do and try as many, I don't know, 6B boulders that I can find.
Yeah, but like I realized that even if it's a 9A boulder that you climb, it's still, I mean, the actual buzz, the high is still quite short, because I mean,
yeah,
but on the other hand, it is a different thing to be a 9A boulder and not be a 9A boulder. Like you have really accomplished something, right?
no, yeah, for sure. Like it is definitely it's a really cool thing, but what I mean with the reward, it's like, or at least that's also how I always kind of experienced it. It's more like a relief, you know. You're really happy, obviously you're really happy in all of this, but at the same time it's like, oh yes. And then for me now, the feeling that I had on this boulder, like I did it, and I was like, holy shit, I did it. And I was like super, super happy, and I didn't know how and what happened and this, and I took a while to like realize all of this. And then there was like, yeah, like I said, some moments super happy and everything, and then I was like, okay, what next, you know? But maybe that's also the type of person you are. But for me, it's always been like this: you climb a boulder, you're projecting whatever, it's a super huge deal and everything, and you do it, and at the same time you're like, okay, now that I've done it, what am I gonna do now? Like what could be my next project? What could be my next cool boulder to try? Or what's my purpose? I don't know. But yeah.
I mean, it's like for you, it will be easier because at some point you have to go back to training for the competition. So
yeah,
then
true.
you don't have this.
True. No, there's always something to work for. But yeah, I don't know. But I think that's also, yeah, I guess everyone who's maybe done competitions, or even like maybe non-competition climbers, everyone who's like climbing at the limit, you're always eager, you know. And at least that's always been the case for me. I'm very hardly content or whatever, or that I'm like, okay, I did this, now I'm just gonna fucking do nothing or just be happy about this forever. And for me, I'm very driven also in that sense, even though I like I said, I like to just enjoy it and have fun and all of this, but at the same time, I just love working towards something and having, you know, this boulder in mind that I want to do, or this whatever competition. And so I feel like I naturally always then try to find a new thing to work towards and accomplish.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll find it. But what I find fascinating is like this line in the middle of the bouldering area in Maltatal. It was there all along. It was always there, right? But it wasn't viewed as a line before because it was too hard, right? Like people didn't see that as a line. How many other lines are there like in the middle of, you know, well-known bouldering areas that we don't view as lines because it's just too hard for now? Like, and then it's also fascinating that you start working it and it turns out to be perfect, like perfect limit. What is 9A? It's not. I mean, it could easily have been 9B. Like,
yeah, for sure. I mean, I definitely agree. I think there's like, even after I did the boulder in Maltatal, you know, you just walk around. I did like this hike around the whole sector or whatever, and just walked around, looked at stuff. And then walked all the way up, and just, you know, you just look at maybe some other boulders that haven't been climbed or stuff maybe you haven't even looked at before, and then you're like, you know, actually, if you put effort into that, the boulder itself, it's here, the line is here, it looks great. It just maybe it might be impossible, but if you do put the effort in and I don't know, brush it, try the moves, try figuring out something, it could be a really cool super hard boulder as well. And so it's always like definitely like you gotta actively look for it, because it's the same like when you go through a huge area in, I don't know, Fontainebleau or Ticino, wherever, you just like, you have one thing after another. You're like, okay, I did this, what's the next? Oh, here, yeah, let's go. And so like you never look at something and like, has this been climbed and could this be climbed? It doesn't happen much, I would say, and that makes it even cooler. I think if this turns out to be something and it is actually possible.
Do you have something like this? You brush some line and then you try it and then you just said, okay, it's impossible, I will leave it?
Well, to be honest, I haven't like brushed it and like first ascended many boulders and tried. I have done a few, and I haven't had the experience yet. I think that I did brush something and it wasn't possible. I think at the end I always like climbed it, but I mean, yeah, till now, or like up till now, I think, yeah, I did like one 8C first ascent, which to be honest did feel a bit like this. Like it did also feel impossible for a long time, but it also ended up being possible, obviously. But I mean, yeah, I think if that's something you do more regularly, you've got to have this feeling a lot. And I know a lot of people, and I have a lot of friends also who, you know, do this much more and who do have this experience much more often. And yeah, I am, or most like us, like I'm also lucky to have many of these people who do put the effort in and like brush and look for boulders that maybe at one point even other people actually then climb and first ascend or whatever.
You're both a rock climber and a competition climber. I mean, you're successful at both, obviously. Do you need to do both? Like, do you want to do both, or would you, like, if you could, would you choose just climb rocks?
No, I think I'd still do both.
Yeah.
I actually, yeah, that's it. Like, I love the, you know, I love the balance and I love the changing in climbing and training in preparation and all of this. And I'm someone who also, I don't like having everything the same way, you know. I like to be on the road sometimes, go to other places, climb in other places, and I get, I don't know, not bored, but yeah, I just like to have change every now and then, or different experiences, different insights, whatever. And it's the same with climbing. That's actually the thing I maybe love most about climbing, that it's got so many different aspects and so many different ways in doing it. And so yeah, I think I could never really imagine like just indoor or competition climbing. That's something I could never imagine. But at the same time, it's also hard to imagine just rock climbing, because I still, like, I am very eager and very competitive, and so I naturally also at one point still get psyched and be like, okay, I really want to get back on a World Cup or whatever and show everyone that whatever, I'm in great shape or what I can do and stuff. So
what would be the equivalent in competition climbing of climbing a 9A boulder? What would give you the same feeling?
That's a good question. Well, I don't know. It probably has to be like world champion or something. Maybe I was gonna say Olympic champion, but that's still maybe like a step higher or something. Just from like the success itself, like it's the biggest sport event worldwide or something. But yeah, I would say to me personally, it would mean very much the same if I won world championships. I think that's like, at least for me, has always been the biggest goal, to one day become a world champion.
So I guess even bigger would be doing it, climbing the 9A boulder and become the world championships the same season.
Now, that would be one thing, yeah. I would gladly take that.
Well, you have the chance now.
Exactly, yeah.
One
I
down.
mean, I'm definitely gonna try. Definitely gonna try.
So to win the Olympics is for you more like for the climber, or more because it's a bigger event and it's more known
Yeah, no, it's nothing to do with climbing, to be honest. Like,
Okay.
to me, world championship title or like a World Cup overall title is not worse than an Olympic title, because it's just the same event, right? It's one competition. To be honest, actually, maybe a World Cup overall title is still like the biggest thing, because you got to do it consistently over a couple of competitions. So if you look at that way, that would probably be the highest achievement, actually. But if it's a world championship, probably world championship in climbing is even harder to win, because you have like 100 people competing and not 20. And also it's single discipline. So that's why I didn't say Olympics. It's just the event itself. Obviously, that's huge, and that's also looked as or seen as the biggest event in the world, and it also is. So, but yeah, if it's just based on performance, it's the same.
Yeah, probably as for your career as well. You know, if you are Olympic champion, then
Yeah,
you get better sponsors and stuff.
no, for sure. It's mostly that, I would say. Yeah.
Actually, you are professional climber now, like 100%. You do just climbing.
Yeah, at the moment, yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's cool. And I guess we already covered what's the competition goal of the season. I mean, World Championship will be number one. But do you have other goals for the season?
I do have other goals as well. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. One, of course, I think the highlight, like you said, is World Championships. That's probably my biggest goal, to make a medal there, and also kind of get a little bit of a revenge for Björn, where I did not end up with a medal in finals. That was, that's like that's for sure like my biggest goal right now. But at the same time, like, I do still really want to perform well in the World Cup, and also try to like be consistently in the final area again, and just have more opportunities as well. You know, the more often you make finals, the more often you have a chance of winning, obviously. And it's gotten much harder and harder, I feel like, over the years. And even though, like, of course, semis is always hard. It's always hard making semis, and definitely also always hard making finals. But I do feel like if you have the right mindset, I feel like it's possible to be consistent. And at times I've also been consistent in a couple of comps in a row and stuff, where I made really good results. But then also had, like, again, maybe like 2 World Cups where I didn't go to plan. And I don't know, I feel like I've probably matured also a little bit over the years, and gained a little bit more of experience. So that also, I feel like, helps me maybe prepare and find the right way of going into the season and going into the comps, also choosing the comps that I want to do and that I want to perform at. But yeah, it's going to be hard. Like, every year there's many more people coming up from the youth as well. It's always strong teams like Japan. Same
But less this year though. less athletes this year though.
True.
Right?
True, actually, yeah.
It's
only 6 per nation, right? I think
7, right? Or
7?
No, I
think it's 6.
Six, I think.
Yeah, I think they limited it to 6.
Which comp would be your first one this year?
That I'm not 100% sure yet. I will definitely do Prague, Bern, Innsbruck.
Perfect.
And I'm still considering doing the one in Brazil and Salt Lake.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm skipping for sure. Like, I'm skipping China.
Yeah.
And yeah, I already decided it like a while ago, because after last year I just felt super tired, and I was just like, the past 2 years were a lot with all the competitions, basically the season going on till November at times, and having lots of traveling, lots of comps, training 2 disciplines at the same time, having the whole expectations and pressure with the Olympic qualifications. Like, it really just showed that at the end of the year I was mentally and physically, I was just completely done. And so yeah, that was also, I guess, the main reason that I was like, I'm just gonna take this year to focus a little bit more on other things and climb a bit more outside, try to finally also have the time again to work on other projects, because like this one I've had for a long time, and I also wanted to climb much more outside over the past couple of years where it was not as possible due to all the competitions and Olympic qualifiers and stuff. And so it's like I really want to just do this again, have fun, also kind of show my fitness, which I also felt like I trained for so long, and I trained so much, and I felt so good for a long time, and felt like I didn't show it last season as much in the competition, so I didn't like click as well. And yeah, I just felt like I needed to take a step back, take a little break, maybe skip the first few comps, and then be fresh again to fully go to.
Will you keep training both disciplines, or just focus on boulder from now on?
Yeah, not just focus on bouldering. I'm done with lead for now.
Yeah.
And would you go for the Olympics if it's still combined bouldering and lead, or in LA, or not?
Yeah, it's a tough question. If you asked me now, I would probably say no. I don't know if it's gonna change in the next time, because yeah, right now it doesn't feel too much in the past. Also, the whole combined thing, training lead, those comps and stuff, that I would like, I would be like, okay, well, maybe I will give it another shot, try it again or something. But if I'm being honest, I don't think I'm gonna do it again, just because also for me it was just not as fun anymore. I just lost a lot of fun. I lost a lot of passion for climbing, for bouldering, and I did a lot that I did not really want to do, or that I did not enjoy as much, which of course you always have these periods, you always have these things that you have to do in order to be successful. But it reached a limit where it just wasn't good for me anymore. Like, it just wasn't fun at all. And yeah, doing the comps, also then not going to plan, not reaching this goal that I set for myself, yeah, all of this, it just feels really wrong to now say, okay, you know what, I'll do it again. And
So many athletes have to like similar goals.
Yeah.
The Olympics, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's been the same for probably a lot, or most people who have done this path.
I think the whole thing with it, like a separate qualification, that's not the World Cup, and the World Cup goes to shit. Like, it's not good. Like, it wasn't good.
No, and like also you suddenly World Cups are not important anymore, or something, which makes zero sense, because that's something you work for your whole life almost. And then also, like last year, it's like, oh yeah, am I gonna do this as like a preparation or something? And then I'm there and I'm like, what the fuck? I want to win a World Cup. What am I even like? What's this whole thing about it? Like, I actually want to go there and enjoy being at the World Cup, try to do well, and try to do something cool, and not have everything shifted around some qualification process, which like only brings you to the event. Like, in the end, of course, it's the goal to be at the Olympics, but in all other sports, the goal is to be at the Olympics and get a medal or get a good result. And climbing is still like one of maybe the fewer sports, I guess, where it's so hard to even make it to the Olympics. But just being there is like that like you've reached the goal now.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
For some people, like if you born in Europe or like USA, but like if you're born in Africa,
South Africa.
So it's a different story.
Really. No, for sure. And that's the thing for me. If I like, that's one thing I thought about a lot, is that like I knew that I did have a chance of qualifying for the Olympics, and obviously that was the goal, and it was also my decision to try and do that, and I also put a lot of effort in it. I tried everything I could, but at the same time I was like, realistically, if it's a combined competition, I'm not someone who's gonna win. I'm not gonna do a medal. There's many people who are so much stronger in lead which is already a guaranteed, better
Mm.
result than a good boulderer, because it's always the same story, you know where I'm going, but it's it's much more, it's very difficult in bouldering to be like very consistent and to deliver the same way the best lead climbers can. And that's why also for me, like I put my whole focus on lead, because I was like, I'm gonna try to become as good as I can in lead, because in bouldering I can always maybe do well. It can go both ways. I can do well, but if I can reach some level in lead, I do have a much better chance. And then when I did realize that I'm actually doing all of this not to like how it usually is, you train all of this to maybe reach your first podium, to maybe win your first big competition, something like that. This is just like to qualify for something and just be part of it. And it just felt also weird. And that's why also I was thinking, like, if it stays the same, I'd just much rather win a World Cup, win World Championships, and reach other goals that I set for myself than be part of something of something big, but just again be part of it.
Yeah, I totally get that. I think we should get into the short. We have a few Instagram questions, and then we have a few serious questions, as you probably know. And then we're good, I think. So a couple of people have asked if you have a specific diet and also how much you weigh. So that's sort of the same question.
Well, I don't have a diet. I don't do a diet at all. Like I do eat healthy, or like I try to, but every now and then I also maybe don't eat as healthy. But yeah, I've never done a diet. I actually, if I do, like, I much rather try to gain weight, because I'm someone who doesn't really matter what I do. I always have kind of the same weight. I'm always around like 60 kilos or something. And it doesn't really change much. Like it's very hard for me. So when I do look at what I eat, I try to like eat more, or have like more protein, more calories, to rather gain weight than lose weight, to be honest.
So you only weigh 60? Because you look, I mean, you look pretty muscular. Like,
yeah, I've got small bones, maybe. I don't know.
Björn, that's 60 kilo of muscles, not
yeah,
exactly.
Exactly. 60 kilo.
I maybe have 60 kilos of muscle as well, but other stuff.
Other stuff too. Yeah. No, I've always been around. I mean, sometimes obviously like 61. It varies a little bit, but it's usually around, like, I think now it's more like 60. Maybe when I'm more in like a competition bouldering kind of mode, maybe it's like a kilo more, maybe it's 61. But I really don't pay that much attention to it, because I've never been really confronted with having any issues of gaining or losing a lot of weight or something. So I I try to eat healthy as well as I can, as regular as I can, and that's it.
Do you take any supplements?
I do take a little bit of supplements, but like, is it called supplements? If it's like vitamins and stuff like that. Yeah, magnesia stuff, but nothing, not a crazy amount, to be honest. But yeah, I do take some things.
Okay, how much weight can you add to one arm hang on tendon movers?
It's not gonna sound great, but I have never done that in my life, to be honest. No idea. I don't do anything on the hangboard. I've never done, only to warm up. I've started using it for warm up now, because I've had some problems over the years with like infections on the pulley, and I had a couple of injuries with like from like pockets and stuff. And so now I do use it for warm up, to just get warm and prevent injuries and stuff. But like, I've not once, I think, in my life trained on the hangboard. I always train on the wall. Yeah, I don't use that at all now. And that's
So weird.
that's yeah, no, but that's the key, as I'm telling you, because it doesn't matter how much you can hang on, it matters how much you can pull on, you know.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's strange. It's just that it gets so much. I mean, if you look at Instagram or social media as a whole,
I know,
like
I know, no, I
it's
know.
so big, you know, to hang on small
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
it is. I don't think I've ever even like tried hanging on these like tiny little crimps things, but yeah, I don't know. I was also never really a fan, and also where the way I like trained or climbed, no one really did that in my circle or whatever. And even then, when I moved to Innsbruck, there were some people who did it and everything, but I was like, why would I do that? And the only thing, well, for me, always like to get finger strength. To be honest, the best way to get that is climb outdoors, and that also what I always felt like every time I did do like a trip to, I don't know, somewhere for like, let's say 2-3 weeks, and I was mainly climbing outside. Even though maybe if you didn't, like, you don't have to send, but just like trying hard and like holding small holds, just giving 100% and all of this, it's so much more intense than climbing indoors or just hanging on stuff, at least for me. And every time I did come back, I felt like I had the best finger strength. And also right now, I didn't really do anything specific for that. I just climbed a lot of outside, and I feel like it comes naturally from just climbing as much as you can and as hard as you can.
Obviously, I'm not going to argue with you because, I mean, you're pretty strong on small crimps. So, that's
I don't know.
Yeah. Who is your biggest rival?
My biggest rival? Oh, I don't know. I don't think I have a biggest rival. I mean, to be honest, in the last couple of years in Austria, I wouldn't say rival, but like my biggest at one point first, like it's always been, you know, Jakob. He's always been my training buddy over the years. He's also been something of like an idol, obviously, when I was also younger. And then when I moved to Innsbruck, I started training with him. He was like the #1 motivator in the gym and screaming at everyone to not leave the gym unless you've trained for 4 hours, which hit me a lot. But I don't know. Yeah, he's always, I've trained a lot with him, and I always also tried to push my limit to get at the beginning to get close to him, and which helped me a lot, especially when I moved to Innsbruck. And still now, like, I really like climbing with him because he's just really strong, and you always want to measure yourself also with like the strongest people and the best people. And I don't know, he's very competitive. I'm very competitive as well, but we're good friends, so I wouldn't say it's a rival or something. It's more like I don't know, something I look up to, but also somehow try to like measure myself, because he's always been there, and he's always been, you know, very successful, very strong, and you always try to be around the best people, I guess, and also train with the best.
And I guess you always want to beat him.
Of course. Of course I did.
Yeah. Which board do you prefer? Like, assuming you climb on boards.
I do. Not as much either, but I do. But I really like the kilter board, to be honest. I haven't climbed on it as much because in Innsbruck we have like the wooden wall where we climb a lot, which I also really like all sorts of wooden boards, really. When I was in Sheffield also, I was so stunned because there's just like so many great boards, and it's so much fun climbing there. But I really like the kilter board. Like, I like the holds. It's really fun, you know, just not having to think, going through one board after another and doing some big moves on not painful holds. And yeah, I really like it. I haven't climbed on the tension board much. They did get one now in Klagenfurt, but I haven't tried it yet. I actually think no, I've never climbed on it, but I would like to because it also looks really cool. But yeah, I'm more of a kilter board than like moonboard guy, I think.
Cool. So the serious questions.
No. I have one more question.
One more. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. It's from Krudi.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you should say something in Slovenian, as you are like half Slovenian. So
Okay, say something in Slovenian. What?
yes.
Gotta choose wisely now.
Yeah.
Please don't.
Okay, vse najboljše za rojstni dan Jane Huda.
Which
Even though it's
mean-
not his birthday. But I'm just gonna say something. You just said say something.
Okay, now we can
I
go.
was gonna say something, but I can't say that now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Let's go for the serious question.
Yeah.
How much do you
Okay.
bench?
Bench? I don't
Yep.
bench either. I don't bench either. I'm sorry.
Not at all? Never, ever?
Not ever. I think I've done it once when I was like 17 or something.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I sucked. I really sucked, I think. Maybe
Question
like,
is, huh?
I don't know, 60 maybe. But like I did, I think when I did do it back then, I did like a lot of reps, like 8-10 reps or something. I think it
On
was
60 kilos?
Yeah, I think it, or maybe.
But that's body weight. That's not bad.
Is it? Then maybe it was less. It was really not good. Like maybe it was even 40. I don't know. But everyone was always making fun of me because I was in a sports school, you know, and that's also the only time I did it. Like I think once because everyone was doing it, all the footballers and ice hockey players, and they were all like huge and everything. I was like, fuck. And everyone was like, you gotta be so good at this climbing and everything. I was like, I don't think so. And then I tried it a couple of times, but yeah, it was kind of embarrassing.
Okay, so there's room for improvement.
Definitely.
And well, next one then that you might do actually, one armors.
How many?
Yes.
Or okay. I mean, I can do it. That I can do. I think I did 5 once or something, but I haven't tried that in a long time. Maybe I can do 6, 7, 5, 6, something like that.
On each arm?
No, I don't think so. On my right arm, on my weak, but I think on both I can for sure. Like left, I know that I did a lot of times like 3, but it just feels like shit on the other side. I feel like I'm doing everything wrong, and it feels just really not good. But on the right, yeah, I feel much better. I think I could maybe do 5 or something.
Okay. So what about pistol squats?
You're asking me the wrong questions. I've never done that either. I'm really not a gym rat, as you can tell by now. I like the only things I do in the gym nowadays are like injury prevention things, you know, just like, or I don't know, or like mobility stuff. I've never really used weights much. I think only in my youth years I've done a little bit when I was still in school, but yeah.
But you know what pistol squat is? Like one leg?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
More or less. I mean, I don't want to show you how I'm doing it, but I have an idea of how it looks.
Okay. So last one, I'm almost 100% sure that you have no idea about this one. On a 20 millimeter edge, how much can you lift? No idea. Okay.
No idea. No idea. What's the 20 millimeters? Is that the middle Beastmaker one?
Sort of. I think the middle Beastmaker could be
like
somewhere around there, right?
Or more. It's probably around that.
Hmm.
I could have an idea about this. Because I mean, we do have like these tests at the beginning of each year, or I think even twice a year from the team. And he used to be, I think, on actually that crimp, but he haven't been in a long time. They have like different, like a different crimp, wooden crimp thing, and then we measure the max pull or like the max hang or whatever. And yeah, we do this every year. Every year, I'm really not that great. Like I'm not bad. I would say average, but yeah, I don't know. It's honestly always been like this. Like maybe it's also to do because I don't really hang board, like
Mhm.
because it's different hanging on stuff than actually climbing or pulling
Oh,
on
yeah.
stuff. And I always felt like I'm like I've always been really good on crimps and always felt really good on crimps and felt really strong, and also felt like I could literally jump on like crimps one hand or like do one on pull up and stuff, but like I just suck at hanging on that on those things. I feel like, so yeah, not a great hanger.
So when you say average, is it average from the general population, you think, or average from the Austrian men's boulder team?
I would say average of the men's Austrian team, or the whole Austrian, like even with the like also with the youth. I think it's like I know, for example, my brother, he's usually better than me on these things, but he doesn't do it either. He's just better than me. I don't know. Good genes.
But maybe what if it actually is good for you to train your fingers? Like, what if? Just say.
Maybe, yeah. But I mean, I do have a theory, you know, because ever since I did have some problems with fingers and I did start using the hangbar to warm up almost every session, I also felt, I mean, I feel good on crimson. I don't know if that plays a role, but I did feel like it definitely did something, you know. I don't know if I necessarily got stronger fingers or like maybe just like healthier fingers. But
Yeah, makes sense.
I do feel something good coming from it. I feel like it does something. I whether it's for warming up, for having injury problems, like it's very good. But I don't really think that it's gonna help my crimp strength as much, or at least I'm not saying it's not. I don't know. It's just not my favorite way of training finger strength, I guess. It could help. Maybe it could. Maybe I just need to try it. You're right. Maybe.
Have a healthy finger helps. So.
That helps.
I mean, that always helps.
I mean, we talked to Josh, right? Josh Larson, and he said Colin didn't train at all, fingers at all either. But then he's started now.
Yes.
A little bit, yeah. And
let's see if he gets stronger. Huh? Let's see.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I mean, you look, if you there's more people who never do like hangboarding. I know one. Like Jakob's never done that either. Like,
Okay.
I mean, he's also, it's of course it's genes. He's naturally good on all of these things. But there's like, I feel like also in Austria, at least if it's for the men's team, I don't really know if anyone. I don't think anyone really does that much. Like I think it also like it's a very, of course, like British thing to do. I feel like everyone does it a lot, and I mean, I also know like Alex and Yannick, or like they also obviously like, I don't know. I guess it's just also what you grow up doing, or what you prefer doing. What's kind of like the idea of how you're training, or what the focus is about, or I'm not sure. It's just never really even considered it, to be honest. Like it was very late. It's not. Yeah. It happened very late that I even got, confronted with this topic. Like I never even thought about doing it. And it was just at one point I saw people doing it. I was like, okay, well, I don't know.
I guess as long as you sort of push your fingers by like maxing out basically on holds, or that also, it's
yeah, well, that's exactly the thing, because if I set really hard boulders on the spray wall or on the wooden wall, or I go rock climbing or something, and you just do like super hard moves on your limit and push your fingers straight, like that's I still think the most effective way, at least for me, to try get better fingers or fingers.
I guess you can. I mean, maybe the risk is less if you have total control, which you can have on a board, or a hangboard.
I think I guess the board is also more maybe for more like raw strength or something. It's probably also just also having robust fingers, strong, healthy fingers. It's like you say, it's less injury risky and all of these things. And I guess maybe it's also just more for very specific or very small percentage that I still think it's more effective doing it on the wall.
Mm.
So when I do that, then I do feel the difference. I don't know if I would feel a difference if I would not do that, but like do more hangboarding or like, you know, shift the focus on something else. But I don't know.
Whatever you're doing, it seems to work. So
Yeah, I guess it's not too bad for now.
no. So
Well,
that's it. That was
Nice.
that's
so good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, now
Now all the fame will be.
yeah. Link my brother, huh?
Yeah. Will.
He's gonna get all the shit talk now, not me.
No, so thank you so much, and wishing you all the best for the upcoming season and so on, and hope to see you in suppose Prague then.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, latest Prague, maybe before, we'll see. But
Well, going to Brazil.
Thank you guys. Yeah, for sure. Maybe Ticino, right? I could let
Ticino
you
would be
know.
cool, yeah.
I'll let you know. Yeah.
Just hit me up when we are going.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks for having me. Huh?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Ciao.